Father, our soul can only be well because it dwells with you. And apart from that, Father, all that's in store for us is wrath. And we are reminded today that we are able to come to you, to look into your word and understand it because of your grace given to us. And I do ask, Lord, that you enlighten me, enlighten all as we try to look into your word. And I pray that I may be faithful in explaining your truth and that we will respond in gratitude and obedience. In Jesus' name, amen. Today's passage is entitled Hope in the Midst of Darkness. And we're looking at Genesis chapter 6, verse 1 to 8. And I read, Now it came about when the man began to multiply on the face of the land, and the daughters were born to them, that the Son of God saw that the daughters of men were beautiful, and they took wives for themselves whoever they choose. Then the Lord said, My spirit will not strive with man forever, because he is flesh. Nevertheless, his days shall be 120 years. The Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and also afterwards, when the sons of God came into the daughters of men, and they bore children to them. Those were the mighty men who were of old, men of renown. Verse 5. That the Lord saw that the wickedness of man was great on the earth, and that every intent of the thought of his heart was only evil continually. The Lord was sorry that he had made man on the earth, and he was grieved in his heart. The Lord God said, I will blot out man, whom I have created from the face of the land, from man to animals to creeping things to the birds of the sky, for I am sorry that I have made them. But Noah found favor in the eyes of the Lord. You know, this passage that we're looking at is claimed to be the hardest passage in the whole of Old Testament. And it is said that this passage will keep any expositor humble, simply because it's a really difficult passage. And as I was studying it, and I was trying to check what other people would explain this, how they would explain this. Most of them, when they teach Genesis chapter 6, they would skip verse 1 to 8. And they would just proceed to verse 9, talking about the flood. But you know, the mere fact that it's there, I felt that there is something. But again, I said this premise simply because chances are, if you read 3 or 4 commentaries on this, probably you'll get 3 or 4 different understanding of it, because it's extremely difficult. And I just pray to God that He would just guide me, that my understanding is truthful to this. Now, the question is, have you been in a situation that is very desperate? A situation that's very difficult. When you look around everywhere, it seems that life is hopeless. It seems that things can never get better. It seems that you are in a rut. And this passage, I believe, has something to do with that. How in the midst of darkness, there is still hope in God. That God has not forgotten us. That God is faithful. So if today you're in a situation of despair, maybe this message is for you, because there is hope in the midst of utter darkness. Let's go to verse 1. It says, Now it came about that the men began to multiply on the face of the land, and the daughters were born to them. As you can see here in chapter 6, verse 1, the promise of God that He will bless man is being fulfilled. There is a population explosion. We saw in chapter 4 how the line of Cain was progressing. And we saw in chapter 5 how the line of Seth was progressing. Now in chapter 6, there was an explosion in the population. It says, man began to multiply. Man began to multiply by tens of thousands. This is what that means, multiply. On the face of the land, that the population of mankind was so vast that it was going throughout the land. There was an estimate of about how many people were alive during that time.